Alright, how's it going, everybody? This is a video that I've been trying to make for a while now. I've gotten a lot of requests for it. I know a lot of you have had a lot of issues on getting the ribbon cable to read these memory card adapters. I'm going to show you the process on how to get it to work. It's very meticulous and you have to be very good with your tape to make it work. So I'm going to go through the steps that I normally go to get it to work. So first things first, what I like to do is, you see here, have some alcohol swabs that I cut down. I like to clean the surfaces first to make sure there's nothing that's going to prevent it from working. So that's the first part right here. And then I do the same for the adapter right here. Clean that up pretty good. Once that's cleaned up, just blow on it a little bit. Make sure it's dried up. Okay. Alright, so the first step that I like to do to ensure that you have at least good connectivity, to ensure that your ribbon cable and your adapter and your memory card is good, is to do a test fit. So what I usually do is I go down here, put the ribbon cable against the connection to the adapter, and I push down. I try to push down on both fingers like this. Let's see, until you find the spot where it's going to read the ribbon cable on your PSP. Let me see. Yep, as you can see now, it just changed right here. See how it's reading the memory stick now. So now you know the position that you need to put your ribbon cable off once you apply the tape. So as you can see, it's not flush with the bottom. It's like about halfway, about a quarter of the way up. I usually do it by, I don't know if you guys can see it, but right here on the adapter, there's like a little divot right there. That's usually where I put the bottom of the ribbon cable. It's been successful for me on multiple adapters, so that's the best way for me to tell. And like I said, you could do it again to double check. Let me see, I'll do that again. Like I said, and as you can see, it pops up right away. So you know it works. Although I have ran into some issues, and I'll go on to this one. I've already tested this cable. I know this cable's good. As you've seen, this Pro adapter is good. But for some reason on this PSP, as you can see, it's in the same spot. But as you can see on this light, it still doesn't read it up here. So I'm thinking there's maybe some issues with the motherboard. So if you get issues like this, you might have something wrong with your motherboard, whether it's dirty or it may not be functional. You got to remember these are kind of old. So for this one, I just replaced the motherboard. So I think that just the memory card slot is faulty. So this one's probably just going to stay as with the stock 14 gigabyte memory that it has. Alright, so now we're about to start on the most important part of getting this whole mod to work. So this is the way I cut my tape. It makes it a little bit easier to, undo the first part. You just pull the white part back and peel it off, and then stick it onto this side of the ribbon cable. As you guys can see, the amount of tape that I got when I first started doing this wasn't enough, so I had to order a whole sheet of it from Amazon because I have multiple of these adapters that I work on. So I'll leave a link in the description just in case you guys need it for the same reasons. Alright, so here we go. So usually I like doing this with, let me take the adapter out, it's probably a little bit easier for this portion. Usually what I do, like I said, get an alcohol wipe real quick, clean this off real quick. Okay, should be good. And then I'll use this one. Let me see. No, this one's probably a little bit better. So what you want to do, you want to make sure you don't touch it. Don't touch the actual sticky part of the tape, or if you see anything that's been rolled up or anything, because anything small like that is gonna make it not work. So what I usually do is I put it on my finger like this, put the edge of it like that, and just go over like that. See, that way you don't touch it, and you don't get any contaminants or anything on it, right? So next thing I like to do is I like to sit here and you got to make sure that this thing adheres to the connector part, because sometimes what will happen is when you start peeling it, the sticky part comes up with it, and then you try to put it back and it curls, and that just eliminated the connection. So you're gonna have issues. You got to make sure, like I said, make the biggest effort that you can to ensure that it doesn't come up along with this brown part when you start peeling it off. So I sit there and I know it looks weird, but I sit there and rub it on here as much as I can to ensure that it's not going to peel up with it. And then the next portion, it always, it's hard for me is to get a corner to start peeling it. Let me see if I can get one here. Sometimes I use my little knife to get this thing going, just to get the corner going at least. There we go. Once I get the corner going, I peel it back a little bit with my fingernail as much as I can, but while inspecting to make sure that it's not coming up. While it's not coming up with the paper. Let me see, let me try that some more. Let's see, it doesn't seem to be coming up, which is great. There we go. And then I also keep rubbing, make sure it's going to stay on there. And just peel a little bit at a time. A little bit at a time. Just to make sure that you don't, that adhesive doesn't get messed up. As you can tell, look, slowly but surely. Slow. Bam, it's off. Next thing you want to do is you want to inspect it, make sure it didn't get rolled up. As you can see, nice and straight. Nothing's messed up on it. Alright, so now on to the next part. Let me see what I leave that adapter right here. Now, we're gonna, like I said, try not to touch this or this portion of it. That way you don't get any contaminants on here. And remember, we're gonna go to this little divot right here where this little thing is, and that's where the bottom of the ribbon cable is gonna go, because we know the connection works right there. So I always grab it around the edges, try to keep the ribbon cable centered. There we go. Right about there. See, it's at the bottom where that little divot thing is at, and then that's where you push down on it. There we go. Try to get it to stick on there. And I always hold it down a little bit. I think like the heat from your hands helps it adhere a little bit better. So I always keep it, held like this for probably like about a minute and a half. All right, so now we're gonna see if our adapter worked. So put it in here. And sure enough, let's see. Oh, sure enough, it came up. It's reading the 32 gig card that's in there. So we know that our connection is good and that everything is working. So now what we have to do is open it up on the back and install everything. So let me take this out. And then we'll take this thing apart. I think I did this in the other video, but I didn't have anybody helping me record it, so the quality is not the best. So I'll just go ahead and redo it here. First things first, take these things out, these two screws on the top. These two. These are shorter than the screws that hold the back open, so it's not really hard to confuse them. And as always, make sure you guys are working on a soft surface so you don't scratch the front of your screen. Alright, so now what we do is pop the top off. Pop that off. Then we'll pop this off. This thing's still on. Make sure it's turned off. Alright. So put the adapter back in. And we want to make sure we get a good route in. So what I like to do is I pull it all the way back like this and then close the memory card door. That way you know it's not going to be sticking out. Because if you leave it loose up here, it'll leave this little door sticking out, and it's yeah, I don't know, it annoys me. I don't like it not looking like, I don't like it looking like that. So usually what I do is come in, do the first fold down, then another fold like this. And then I'll keep it down with some Captain tape that I've already pre-cut. Someone in the comments had asked before if they could use electrical tape. I mean, I don't know why not. It doesn't conduct electricity or anything, so I think you should be fine. It's just I have sheets of this stuff lying around, so that's what I like to use. So before we close everything up, hold on, let me get another piece right here. So I like it right there, and then another piece that holds it down here, there, and down right here. So before we put everything back together, let's slide up, make sure everything still works. Make sure that it's still reading the memory card and everything. You'll know because it's flat. It'll start flashing as soon as you start it up, and sure enough, it's there. So we'll close this thing back up. Okay. All right, so let's finish putting this thing back together. Like I said, I've already done it before, but there's these little things that stick up here. You can just use your fingernails to take them off to ensure that this adapter fits on there. And so what I usually do is once I pop this thing back on, as you can see, if you just leave it on there, it stays up like this because of the thickness of the adapter in there. So what I do is I ensure to screw in this corner first. Let me get that in here. And then this corner up here. That way, get everything done. Then you don't have to keep holding it anymore. So now it's being held in place, as you can see here. So you finish putting these screws back on. That's on there. We'll do the top part. Now everything's put back together. Nothing's sticking out or looking weird, you know. Just looks like a regular old PSP. Pop it open, and here's the additional memory that I didn't have before. Like I said, I've tested all the way up to 128 gigs. I've been asked if a 256 gig or higher works. I'm not sure. I haven't gotten that high. They do make the Pro Duo adapters that have 2 slots in them. I haven't used those yet. I've only been using the single slot one, but I haven't had any issues. Hopefully this guide is a little bit better than the last one. And if you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask away in the comments or shoot me a message. I've gotten a lot of requests to see if I would do this mod for people. Like if you guys mail in my PSP or your PSP to me and I get it done for you. I'm not sure about that. I might do it. It depends on the demand. Like I said, I have a full-time job, so if I do it, I'll probably only accept a couple, just a few per week, just to make sure that I don't get overloaded with work and this little this hobby on the side. Once again, thanks for watching. I hope this video was helpful. If you would like to subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it. Now that I'm settled, I hope to make more videos about modding retro consoles. Feel free to send any suggestions, and until next time.